The ballroom is buzzing louder than the orchestra tonight, and the hottest tea is all about the infamous monster lord of Halstead's and his unfairly gorgeous wife. Everyone's whispering the same thing. She's way too clever, way too stunning to be stuck with that weird masked guy, even though her family's bank account has been popping off ever since the wedding. The single dudes in the room are already writing fan fiction in their heads. Poor lonely princess, clearly miserable, just waiting for a dashing hero to swoop in and rescue her. Cue the dramatic slow-mo fantasies. Then Count Valdine struts in like he invented confidence. This man is so full of himself, he probably polishes his ego every morning. He spots her, locks target, and glides over with that "this is already in the bag" energy. Smooth smile, velvet voice, leans in super close and pulls the classic move. Asks her to blink once if she's secretly trapped by her terrifying husband. She gives the tiniest glance. His heart does a victory lap. 2 seconds later, she shuts it all down. Flat out tells him he's not her type because, plot twist, he's ugly. Like deep-sea angler fish that took a wrong turn ugly. Man's ego shatters so hard you can almost hear the glass break. He's left standing there like a glitch in the Matrix while she casually strolls back to her husband. She links arms with Erden. They share one of those quiet looks, and off they go like the rest of the room doesn't exist. Later, inside the rocking carriage, he finally peels off the mask. And oh. Suddenly it's crystal clear why she's never once glanced at another guy. That face? Criminal. Unfair. The kind of pretty that should come with a warning label. The vibe gets all soft and warm for a hot second, until he casually drops the bomb. They should divorce. He's already had the papers drawn up, but oops, he lost them. Just misplaced the entire divorce. Classic. What he doesn't know? She didn't lose them. She straight up torched them in the fireplace like a villain origin story. And now she's mentally drafting the most unhinged, terrifying rumors to spread across the northern courts. The kind that'll make every lawyer in the kingdom develop a sudden allergy to paperwork. Because no way is she letting a face that pretty walk out of her life. Not today. Not ever. All right, time to jump back to the real starting point of the tale. A little girl wakes from a strange dream where intense heat surrounds her and she keeps begging someone to save her. Suddenly her eyes snap open, breathing heavy as tears roll down her face, wondering why she still dreams about her past life. The black smoke flooding that small orphanage room and the sensation of her body melting in burning flames still send chills through her because it felt too real. She steps out of her room and greets the maids with a small hello. She looks at the food on the table, thinking it must be tasty. She was reincarnated, but after her parents died in an accident near the Demon Land in the north, she ended up in her uncle's house as a maid. Carrying a tray full of food, she walks through the corridor, thinking how her life now is just starving in a cold, small room, and dying once only to live like this feels pathetic. Moreover, anyone found to remember their past life would be treated as a witch and burned at the stake. Her face darkens as she wonders if that is why she keeps having nightmares, because she does not want to burn to death again in this life. As she quietly stands behind a door, she hears her Uncle Ike shouting that he is Letitia's guardian, so her inheritance belongs to him. And since she is only 12, he has the right to use it for child-rearing expenses. She does not understand at first, but then she hears them talking about gathering more money to send an adventurer to the Monster Land to retrieve mine documents lost 10 years ago in the accident, saying if they succeed, they will become very rich using that inheritance money. The lady inside says that is not the problem right now because their daughters are about to get married to that monster because of him. The little girl listens in shock as the daughters shout that they will never marry a monster and ask if their parents do not know what kind of house the Halstead house is. A family rumored to give birth to horrific monsters for generations because of a hereditary disease. They even mention the Lord's subordinates, the third demon grannies who sacrifice unmarried girls they dislike and collect their belongings in a tower room. Letitia stands there confused because she always thought Halstead was just a scary story older girls made up to frighten her. Inside, her uncle still says he cannot give up on the document, while his wife reminds him they have searched the vast northern land for 10 years without success and questions if he really thinks it is possible. He shouts that he cannot give up. Two maids suddenly approach Letitia and ask what she is doing standing there. She realizes her uncle still cannot let go of her inheritance and wonders if that is why he could not attend her parents' funeral, because he was in the demon land searching for that paper, and she feels disgusted. Her aunt angrily asks him why he went to such a dangerous place alone when it was impossible to find it anyway, and now they are indebted to a strange house. He yells back, asking if she thinks it would have been better if he died there, and says if it were not for him, they would have died. His daughters shout that no matter what, they are ashamed he is selling them. Letitia is still confused about what the demon house has to do with her inheritance when her aunt suddenly demands that he send Letitia instead. Her uncle refuses and shouts that they should just burn the paper and act like it never happened. The lady screams no and demands he give it to her. Just then, the paper falls near the door as Letitia walks in, saying she brought lunch. She picks up the letter from the ground, and her aunt yells at her to hand it over while her uncle shouts at her to burn it quickly. Letitia is shocked to see it is a pledge paper from the temple. Her aunt continues shouting that even if they burn it, the pledge will still remain, and its harmful power will only be unleashed on them instead. The letter changes everything. Her uncle once wrote that he owes his life to the Lord of Halstead in the Demon's Land, and because of that, he made a sacred promise sealed in blood. Within 10 years, another life must be paid, and by sending a daughter of the Grey House into Halstead Castle, he will finally honor that pledge. The lady's voice cuts through the room like a blade, warning that if they break this vow, the temple will confiscate all their assets, and they will rot in prison for all eternity. She begs her husband to give up, and even the girls drop to their knees, pleading with their father to stop this madness. The man turns toward Letitia, his eyes wild and desperate, whispering that a promise made with blood needs proof, and he knows she also has his blood. Letitia's eyes blow wide as she realizes he means her, and she understands this is how disaster starts, because marrying into the Halstead family means giving up her inheritance forever. Her cousins exchange glances and nod eagerly, saying that since she is a witch, she will get along perfectly with that monster. The lady's eyes pop out at their words. She questions the explanation, but the girls simply state that Letitia has always said strange things in her sleep since she was young. Letitia stands frozen, stunned, wondering if she was speaking Korean in her sleep, and the ladies confirm it without hesitation, adding that she often acts weird. The tray slips from her hands and crashes to the floor with a deafening echo as she screams at them not to lie, demanding real proof that she is a witch. The girls shriek back that all redheads are witches and the temple can examine her to prove it, and her aunt turns slowly, her eyes boring into Letitia as she asks if she knows what happens to witches. Panic floods Letitia's veins because she cannot let the temple examine her. They will discover her past life memories. So she spins to her aunt with tears brimming, begging, asking if she is still her niece, if she would really let them burn her at the stake. The lady steps closer, her voice dropping to a deadly whisper, saying that if rumors spread that Letitia is a witch, the temple will take her immediately. And she tilts her head almost sympathetically, adding that they are only talking about adopting her, sending her to marry into the Halstead family. It is the safest option. Letitia stares in disbelief, refusing to go to the place where her parents died, and her aunt's face hardens instantly as she asks if she should send a message to the temple instead, declaring she will prepare everything for Letitia's passage north immediately. Letitia loads her belongings into the carriage and the wheels rumble as they ride through the mountains, and against all odds, a tiny spark of optimism flickers in her chest because it is close to the demon land. Yes, but people still live around there. So she grips her hands together, forcing determination, reminding herself that the monster lord is still a person, not a demon, and being called a witch and burning at the stake would be far worse. And though gloom settles over her heart, she has no choice. This fate is hers now. Suddenly, the carriage lurches violently, and she whips her head toward the riders who confess they felt something strange the moment they stepped onto Northern territory. And Letitia's eyes snap toward the tornado sands as she points, dust exploding into the air and swallowing everything while the boys stare in horror as it settles, revealing something in the distance that looks like a carriage. But when Letitia squints and looks again, the riders realize the truth a second too late. It is not a carriage. It is imps. And before Letitia can even scream, they are gone. The riders vanish, abandoning her without a single glance back, and she shrieks for them to wait, her feet pounding against the dirt until her foot catches on something and she crashes hard to the ground. Shadows moving in the dust as goblins emerge from the haze, circling her slowly with hungry eyes gleaming, drool dripping from their jaws as they close in. She finds herself surrounded by a pack of drooling goblins, seated in their midst as they eagerly anticipate devouring her. She suddenly bolts for her life, only to end up trapped in a dead end where she conceals herself behind a boulder, desperately trying to silence her breathing even though her life force betrays her location. She questions whether she will truly meet her end like this, even in her second chance at existence, and briefly considers that perhaps marrying the monster lord would have been simpler than this nightmare. Just as resignation begins to settle in, she catches a strange noise and spins around, convincing herself fear is playing tricks on her vision because there on a horse-drawn cart sit cans of butane gas, identical to the ones she used during her orphanage ramen days in her previous life. She tells herself this cannot be real, yet when she spots a small flame dragon nearby, hope ignites within her eyes. Slowly, she creeps forward and seizes a can, but the goblins notice her and stare in confusion at why a tiny girl would be holding cooking fuel in the middle of a battlefield. Taking her final opportunity and recalling her football fan days, she positions herself and hurls the can directly at a fiery monster. The beast proudly catches it in its mouth while the goblins burst into laughter, cheering as if she had just delivered them a treat. She ducks behind a wall, awaiting her demise, when suddenly a stone flies from the opposite direction and strikes the can. An enormous blast shakes the earth. When the smoke dissipates, half the goblins have been obliterated while the remainder crawl in agony, screaming that she must be some kind of sorceress. One goblin shouts that they must inform the great demon about this. The girl freezes because this means the great demon is close by. She looks up toward a cliff and nearly collapses, seeing him standing there with a blood-soaked sword. She squeezes her eyes shut, convinced the blade soaring toward her signals the end. But instead, it pierces straight through a goblin's head. Out of nowhere, several figures burst onto the scene, cutting down the remaining monsters while grumbling that goblins never seem to stay dead, no matter how many times they're killed. They notice the explosion and wonder if a mage is concealed nearby until one with an eye patch spots the little girl and questions why a child is standing amid the chaos. A woman named Alexa steps forward, stating the girl did not wander here by accident, and reveals she discovered a destroyed carriage bearing a strange emblem. One of the warriors freezes, eyes widening as she studies it, then demands to know if it belongs to the Grey family. All eyes turn to the girl, and after a brief hesitation, she confirms she is their daughter. Out of the shadows, a man in a demon mask descends, his voice echoing as he declares the Grey family has kept their promise. The little girl looks at the symbol depicting a dragon with 2 pairs of wings and feels her heart sink as she realizes his identity. Halstead, the monster lord and the husband she was meant to wed. Now the little protagonist reaches Halstead Castle, the frightening truth hitting her that the monster lord and the 3 demon grannies her sisters warned her about are real. The guards at the gate watch her with worry, confused why this small girl looks so lost, one of them guessing she is still in shock from the imp attack. A hand suddenly taps her shoulder, making her jump, and she falls back in fear, crying out that she isn't who they think. Alexa sharply scolds the startled Casaro for scaring the girl when he only wanted to give her something. The old woman keeps shouting at him, asking if he can even eat after watching the imps get killed, while Letitia trembles, realizing she is also a mess. The old woman then turns to the little girl, mentioning they haven't introduced themselves. She tells her she is Alexa, the castle butler, which makes Letitia gasp in disbelief. The other woman calmly introduces herself as Vastian, the nanny. When the eye-patched woman follows with her own introduction, Letitia freezes in terror, absurdly convinced for a split second that she's about to be cooked. Alexa notices the girl's fear growing, understanding their words are making things worse. Vastian moves closer, saying the journey was rough so she must be tired, and offers to take her to a room. Walking inside the castle, Letitia follows behind her, mind racing with dread, wondering what will happen, if they will eat her, sacrifice her, or make her a slave. She halts when they stop near a locked door, remembering her sister's words that the 3 demon grannies keep a padlocked room filled with dead maidens' belongings stacked like a tower. She asks Vastian about the room, and the woman just smiles, telling her she will find out soon. Letitia panics, thinking her sisters were right. She considers running away, even if it means the demons kill her. Reaching her room at last, she lies on the bed, wondering if maybe she can be reborn and live another life. She keeps asking herself if the 3 demon grannies truly eat people, and if she really will be offered as a sacrifice. She curls herself in the blanket. Her mind spins with questions about what tomorrow will bring. She wonders if the monster lord might creep into her room during the night and skewer her. Fear grips her so tightly that she sits up, eyes fixed on the door. She creeps closer, trying the handle, stunned to find it unlocked. She slips outside into the dark corridor, gazing at the shadowy passage. As she walks, she realizes just how immense this castle truly is. She doubts whether she can ever escape this place, though she has no plan for what comes after freedom anyway. She suddenly stiffens, startled by the sound of 2 guards nearby discussing the items they retrieved from the imp. Panic surges through her, and she slips into the nearest room, holding her breath as relief washes over her at the narrow escape. But before she can steady herself, the monster lord looms in front of her, his voice cutting through the silence as he demands to know what she is doing there. The moment her eyes meet his, a scream tears from her throat. With a shaky voice, she stammers out an explanation. The demon asks where she intended to go. As she glances around confused, he simply tells her to follow him. She watches him descend the stairs, torn over whether trailing after him is wise. Yet she has no clue where he is heading. Doubt clouds her mind as she wonders if following him is even safe. He guides her into a chamber and begins searching through books. Unexpectedly, a hidden passage slides open. He explains that this path leads to the stables where she can grab a horse and flee. She stands baffled. He adds that the horseman there is kind and will escort her safely to the Southland Territory's edge if she asks him. She remains puzzled when he suddenly questions whether she was actually trying to escape. She fumbles to respond, admitting it is true. He tells her that if that is the case, then she should go now. That would also let him get back to reading his book. She glances at the volume in his grasp, recognizing it as the Chronicles of Elderberry Rabbit. He looks at her, his expression growing heavy. Then he questions why she is still here, since he assumed she has heard the rumors about him. She admits it is true. But even if she escapes, she has nowhere to go. He asks if that means she intends to stay. The weight of her situation crashes down on her. If she flees, she will be penniless with no destination. Returning to the Grey House could mean being tried as a witch and burned at the stake. Or demons might catch and kill her before that even happens. So she tells the boy that compared to dying immediately, staying would be better. As long as he lets her survive as his bride. He refuses, leaving her stunned. She demands to know why. He simply says he cannot. At least not now. Fear creeps into her voice as she presses further. Tears well in her eyes. She murmurs that she knew it. She really is going to be eaten or offered as a living sacrifice. The boy looks shocked. He asks why she would think he wants to eat her. She answers plainly, because she must taste good. He tries to explain that she has misunderstood something, but she starts crying, begging him not to kill her. She sobs that she does not want to die. He grows flustered, insisting he is trying to tell her something. She keeps shouting through her tears. She pleads that if he must kill her, at least do not burn her. Tears stream down her cheeks as she cries. She does not want to be burned, and she is still underage. The monster lord lets out a frustrated breath. Letitia's sobs trail off as she looks up at him, eyes wide with confusion. He settles her into the chair, his voice gentle as he asks if she has calmed down. She nods, taking a sip of the tea placed before her. Before she can voice her fears about cannibalism or sacrifices, he assures her that his household partakes in no such things. Relief washes over her face as she notices the small rabbit painted on her teacup. He explains that since both of them are still underage, they will only hold an engagement ceremony for now. She studies him curiously, asking his age. When he replies that he is 15, she does the math quickly, realizing only 3 years separate them. He remarks that 3 years means something. 3 full cycles of seasons she will have to pass through. But then her thoughts drift back to the mysterious locked room and she brings it up to him. Confused, he asks her to clarify, and she describes the chamber with the heavy padlock. Without wasting any time, he leads her there and unlocks it with the key in his possession. As the door swings open, she stands mesmerized, her eyes wide with wonder. The room before her sparkles, filled with elegant furniture that catches the light. He tells her this is her room now. She turns to him, shock evident in her wide eyes. He explains they kept it empty before, uncertain when she would arrive. Once news of her coming reached them, they prepared everything in haste. Despite the rush, they gathered only the finest items the castle could offer. He worries quietly that it might not meet the standards of a county noble. She shakes her head firmly, genuine warmth in her voice as she tells him she loves it. She thinks of the 3 elderly women who frightened her earlier. He chuckles, recognizing who she means. Alexa and the others may seem rough around the edges, he admits, but their hearts are kind. She has nothing to fear from them. His tone grows serious as he adds that she should be careful because the rumors about him hold truth. She waits, uncertain. He confesses that he truly is hideous and disgusting, unworthy of someone like her, unworthy of this room, this castle, everything. Something shifts inside her. Before she can stop herself, the words tumble out. She says that she is not the Count's daughter. He freezes, turning to face her fully, confusion replacing his earlier gloom. She explains she is only a foster child. After her parents died, her uncle the Count and aunt took her in. When the time came to send someone here, they chose her instead of their own daughter. His voice darkens as he asks if they forced her. How could they do such a thing? She tells him quietly there was no choice. Refusing would mean the stake being burned as a witch. He calls them cruel, terrible people. She looks down, murmuring that she is not the Count's real child after all, and she's sure that he might send her back home. He tells her that was actually his original plan. Once the Count's daughter arrived and they completed the engagement, he intended to follow the contract, divorce her, and send her back as soon as the pact was fulfilled. Letitia stares at him, confusion clouding her features. She asks if he was really going to send her away. He descends the stairs, glancing back to say he changed his mind. Her aunt and uncle have no right to raise her after what they did. He turns, asking directly if she wants to go back. She shakes her head firmly. He nods, telling her to follow him then. They walk to a study where he signs something on a paper. He explains she can stay in this castle as long as she wishes. If she needs protection, she will have it. No one will lay a hand on her here. He signs the pact and hands her the certificate, his name on it as proof. She holds it carefully, still trying to process everything. He offers to lead her back to her room, mentioning it would be bad if she got lost again. As they arrive in Letitia's room, he asks if she wants the lights left on. She curls into the blanket, nodding, asking him to keep them on. Just as he turns to leave, she calls out his name softly, asking if she may call him Erden. He pauses, turning back. Yes, she can. She apologizes quickly, worried it might upset him. He shakes his head, voice quiet. It is not that. It is just that she is the first person other than his parents to call him that in a very long time. A small smile touches her lips. They exchange goodnights, and he pulls the door closed behind him. Lying in her bed, Letitia's gaze drifts over the paper in her hands. He doesn't seem like a bad person, she thinks, her mind wandering to what he might look like beneath that mask. The thought lingers, gentle but persistent, until her eyelids grow heavy and sleep takes her. Elsewhere, Erden returns to his own room after making sure she's settled. Standing before the basin, he splashes cold water onto his face. Droplets run down his skin as he studies his reflection. He sees the face in the reflection and recoils. It feels wrong, almost hideous. The next morning, Letitia wanders through the garden, stretching her arms and inhaling the crisp morning air. A warm sense of well-being spreads through her as she realizes she slept deeply last night, free from nightmares for the first time in what feels like forever. Her attention is soon caught by something unusual among the trees. An apple tree stands tall, its branches heavy with enormous fruits. Apples larger than anything she has ever seen. Curiosity wells up inside her. She rises onto her tiptoes, reaching, but even the lowest branch remains just out of reach. She tries again, gasping lightly with the effort, silently wondering when her small body will finally catch up to her desire to reach higher. Out of nowhere, a hand stretches toward the apple from behind. Letitia spins around to see Erden standing there, holding the fruit in his hand. As he peels it carefully, her greeting comes out with a nervous tremor, betraying her surprise. To Letitia's shock, Erden offers her the apple he just peeled, remaining silent. The slice is shaped like bunny ears. She freezes, hesitating, simply staring at the delicate offering, unsure how to respond. Erden looks at her, asking what she is waiting for and urging her to take the apple. Confused, Letitia looks up at him, wondering if he is really giving it to her. He casually tosses the question her way. Does she want it now? She finally gives in and takes the slice. Erden throws in a little reminder, though. Don't go overboard on the apple. Casaro's already got breakfast waiting for her. Letitia takes a small bite. Her eyes go wide. The sweetness just hits, spreading all across her tongue like a little surprise, and she can't help but smile. She turns to thank him, but he's already gone. She looks around the garden, a little thrown off by how fast he just disappeared like that. She takes another bite of the bunny-shaped apple, a small thought settling in her chest. He really does seem like a good person. The dining room is stunning. The table's packed with food, everything looks fancy and absolutely delicious, and Letitia can't help but just stare. She turns to Casaro with the biggest smile, asking if she made all of this herself. The old woman smiles, asking who else would have done it. Letitia lights up, gushing over her, calling Casaro a pirate who can cook, which honestly catches the old woman completely off guard. Then, out of nowhere, Letitia turns to Vastian and asks if she can see the Lord after breakfast. She wants to thank him for yesterday and for the little bunny apple this morning. Vastian smiles and gently points out that she's going to be the lady of this house soon. She doesn't need to ask permission from any of them. But then she adds, Letitia won't be finding him today anyway. He left this morning. Letitia's eyes go wide. Where did he go? Why? Vastian explains calmly. He went to handle the monsters lurking nearby. It's the Halstead name's sworn duty, their responsibility to protect these lands. She catches the worry creeping onto Letitia's face and quickly reassures her. The Lord is strong. No need to fret. Letitia hesitates, then quietly asks, Will he come back? Vastian nods. It's a small matter before the bigger one, she says. So he should be back by tomorrow at the latest. Something stirs in Letitia's chest. She speaks up, telling Vastian she wants to help too. Somehow. Vastian blinks, her usual confident expression slipping into pure confusion. Letitia shakes her head quickly. She knows she can't fight monsters, but she genuinely wants to fulfill her duties and do her part. Before Vastian can even respond, Alexa's voice floats in from behind them. Apparently our new lady of the house is a Callahan. Letitia looks between them, completely lost. What does that mean? Vastian's soft smile never wavers as she explains, It's an old saying from the north. Alexa jumps in, filling in the rest. It describes a real lord, not just some figurehead warming a seat with no actual purpose. Letitia thinks on that for a second, then asks, Okay, but what does someone like that actually do? Alexa keeps it simple. The lord and lady protect the castle together. One guards what's outside, the other watches over what's within. When one goes beyond the walls, the one who stays behind holds everything together. Then she adds, Letitia can actually help, right now even. That gets her attention. Letitia leans in, eager, wanting to know everything. Alexa explains it's an old northern custom. If someone ties a knot they made themselves to a warrior's sword before they leave, it's believed the warrior will come back safely. Every strand, she says, creates a path that leads home. She goes a little deeper, too. Northerners don't fear death itself, not really. What they fear is wandering lost through the abyss afterward, drifting blindly with no path to follow back. When someone fastens their tie to a sword before departure, it's a comfort, a quiet promise. You'll find your way back no matter what. Letitia's eyes just light up. She announces it firmly. She's making ties for everyone who goes out to work. Not just the Lord. Every single one of them. Alexa smiles, saying their Lord will be glad to hear that. She mentions the maids usually spend their free time after meals making ties. They'd be happy to help her learn. But first, she gives Letitia a look. Finish your breakfast. A growing child needs to eat. Once she's done eating, Letitia heads to the kitchen. The maids are already deep in it. Colorful threads spread out everywhere, fingers moving with quiet focus. One of them looks up and smiles when she spots Letitia, asking if she needs something. Letitia fidgets a little, asking softly, if it's not too much trouble, would it be okay if she joined them? She'd really like to help make the ties too. The maids just melt. Too cute. Way too cute to even ask like that. They tell her, of course. Of course they'll teach her. What is she even saying? And so Letitia settles in, thread in hand, learning the rhythm of it with their gentle guidance. It's warm in here. Soft. Easy. And that warmth feels strange to her. Everyone here has been so kind. Kinder than she knew how to expect. She'd always wanted this. Had dreamed about it, actually. A place like this. People like this. But now that she has it, something quiet and frightened stirs in her chest. What if it doesn't last? She wonders if it's really okay to live like this. To feel this safe. To let herself want it. She hasn't found an answer yet when a shout tears through from outside, sharp and sudden, shattering the stillness. They're under attack. Demonic monsters.